Hey everyone. Thanks for coming and joining me on this info dump of a live because there's a lot of things that have been changing on Amazon. So hopefully y'all can hear me okay because I didn't put my AirPods in and I'm just using the computer. I think it's working. Got Somek, hi. So let me know if you guys can hear me and then comment, what are you most looking forward to in Q4 this year? Is it your first Q4? Is it your second? Your 10th? There's actually someone in the Q4 BOLO group who's been selling since 2014, which is crazy. So 10 years. She just celebrated 10 years and she also sells on Walmart. I can't even imagine. I'm getting close to that. All right, it's real off the top. The Q4 BOLO group is still open to join. Sajid said it's his second Q4 with toys. Looking forward to selling toys. Well, if you follow me on Instagram, I've already been on a couple of toy chases so far, and it's exciting. So the Q4 group, the doors are going to close on Friday the 30th. I'm pretty sure that's the date. Anyways, Friday for sure. So it'll be closing or until if we reach 200. So there's about 30 seats right now. Spots still open if you want to join. Some of you have joined, but not yet joined the group. So I will be emailing you again tomorrow. There's like 10 of you that haven't joined yet. Annette is on her second year. The second Q4 is always the most fun because you learn a lot on your first Q4. Everything you either name mistakes or just things you didn't realize. Like I ran out actually my second Q4 and then 2022 also ran out of money. My second Q4 I ran out of money, but I had like a lot less budget. The 2022 I had a huge budget with between two credit cards. I just was buying all of that Nordstrom beauty product stuff that I was able to find at the local liquidator, and yeah, it's like spending $10,000, $8,000 a stop. That was crazy. Fun times. Okay. Things we're going to cover. So in the Q4 group, it does have 8 live hangouts. So the first one is next Wednesday. It kicks off, and we're going to be covering a whole bunch of different things, from just deep diving into how to read Keepa charts, how to utilize it as best, because I know a lot of sellers use a scanning app that has it already kind of built in, but you still need to understand what you're looking at, and those apps are not always accurate. Hey, April. Hey, Annette. I'm going to go over how to build your own listings or bundles, and there's a lot of caveats to that. I'm sure you guys have heard a bunch of different things. So I'm going to be going over all of it, the risks, the rewards, how to do it step by step, how to create them. I'll go over a little bit of advertising, which is that PPC. I'm going to be going over FBM because FBM, I'm going to be going over FBM in this live too, but FBM specifically, because if you're not FBMing during Q4, you're missing out. It's that important. And so I'm going to be going over the new templates, like how to set them up because of the new whole order defect rate or whatever it's called. And then you've got you have to use their new shipping automation system. Like as of yesterday, Amazon actually rolled out another automation on the handling time and stuff. So if you haven't played around with your templates or created a new one in the last 2 days, it's already different again. Hopefully for the better, but you never know with Amazon. I'm going to be going over online arbitrage sourcing tips and strategies, navigating Amazon's new policies and all their different changes that they've rolled out. Some of that I'm going to cover here too. Going to go over business goal setting. Like it's really important, especially in the mad dash of Q4, setting up your goals for yourself week by week, really. And so I have a 12-week goal thing that is going to be happening in the Q4 group. So those of you are watching that are in the group, that's coming. And then of course, year-end tax planning and preparing for all of that stuff. But that's like towards the end of Q4. And then there's 2 holiday parties. So we have a Halloween party. We have a Christmas party in December. And I do giveaways. And also this year in the Q4 group, so I think already, I looked earlier today, there's already like 44 leads been shared in that group. It's literally been open for 2 days. And already that's how many leads people are already sharing. People are sharing freely. And to encourage that even more, I'm going to be doing giveaways every month. So everyone in the BOLO group who shares another lead, like you only technically have to share one, but if you share multiple, you'll be entered into a drawing every month for $500 cash. So you could literally make your money back from the group just by sharing and winning that drawing. So that'll happen every month. And in the group, I'm going to be going over it in more detail tomorrow. But yeah, so it's a lot of fun. Like I said, everyone's already super excited. It's a great time of year. So definitely get in with the community. I happen to think mine is nice and encouraging and positive and just a great place to be in. So if you want a community, the Q4 BOLO group is still open to join. Again, until we sell out those last 30 spots or until Friday, whichever happens first. Okay, so if you have any questions, drop them in the comments and I'll be going through your questions, but I also have a whole slew of stuff I wanted to cover in this live about Q4 because we're starting to wrap up my prep series on YouTube here. So new things with FBM, that order on time defect rate, I think it's called, I think that's what the D is. Anyways, so that has rolled out. They've told us last month that we had 60 days. And then as of, I believe it's September 26th, if your defect rate, which you can find in your account health for, and this is for FBM only, if that becomes less than 90%, you could lose your FBM selling privileges. So dig into it right now and see what you're at. All of my videos across all my Instagram, YouTube, about all how to set up FBM templates without the SSA, which is, I didn't write it down, shipping something automation that Amazon has. Let me see if I have it on this. But without that template, shipping setting automation is what it stands for. So without that turned on, you're not really protected. So if you've bought in the FB, if you have your setup like I have shown you in any of my videos, where I toggle off that little automation thing when it first pops up, and it's like, wants you to go through and pick your warehouse and then pick which shipping options you're going to do, all that. I never do that, right? Because I don't want to offer 2-day. Well, I am now, but I didn't want to. So because of that, I always already have it turned off. That is the only really way to protect yourself. Even when you go to buy shipping, like this morning, I did all my orders from the weekend and it says it's protected, but it's not really protected if you don't have the 3 things set on. So you have to have the handling time automation. You have to have the shipping time automation. And there was one other thing. Oh, buying it from Amazon. So that part we are doing, right? Well, for the most part, I think we're all buying our shipping from Amazon or VQ or one of their approved API third party. If you're doing that, you're good, except for these other things. You're not actually protected if you don't have it. So I created a new template. I have it set as my default. And what it is now is when you go into it, you'll see the handling time. It's not even like you can't decide it anymore. Amazon, for 2 of them, you can. So for free, you can. And for expedited, I can. But for the 2-day option, it just says Amazon is dictating it. And then also for standard now, Amazon is dictating it. How I do not prefer to send out because my closest UPS store is 40 minutes one way. So I've always chosen the post office, even if I pay $1 more because it's right here. So because of that, I have it set to 2-day now to have that automation and that protection. However, I charge a lot. Like I think I'm at $29 plus $2.99 a pound for that 2-day, which that might not even be enough. I might need to up it to $39 because if they need it that fast and they're choosing to pay that, it's up to them, right? They have the option. They can have it for free shipping, or if they want it faster, they're going to have to pay for it. But they're going to have to pay for it because I got to drive there too. I mean, I am going to do UPS pickups, but they don't, it depends. I could do it every day. You can do a UPS pickup every day. So I might end up doing that during Q4. We'll just see how it goes. But I'm charging a lot because it's going to cost a lot of my time and gas money. So just know that you can charge more for shipping for those 2 days if you are like me and you've never had it on. I've always had expedited on because expedited I can send 3 days. Sometimes I can even send it regular mail and it will still get there only if they've paid for it. So there's different things there, but I did want to point that out. So if you don't yet have the shipping settings automation template turned on, play around with it. You can literally copy one of your existing templates and just toggle that on. And I have it now. I just called it SSA default or free shipping, so that it's now my default. So when I go list in store, it's going to default to that. And for the most part, it's the same. It's just that added 2-day that I'm not used to. If you guys already do 2-day, then you're like, whatever. But for me, I don't usually do 2-day. So it'll be a learning curve for that part. The other thing that I can't remember if I talked in my video about FBA, but there's a new thing Amazon rolled out about buyer cancellation. So you can now set it. It's already going to be set at default of 30 minutes for you, but I changed mine to an hour. So if a customer orders something and then it goes all the way through, but then they want to cancel within an hour, it will just automatically cancel it. I don't have to do anything. In the past, you would have to manually cancel it for the buyer, which is not a big deal. You can do it with a click of a button in your app. But now you can set it so you can choose however many hour time frame you want. I think you could probably even go to like 8 or 9 hours. I'm not totally sure, but I just did 1 hour because should someone buy something this morning and I can still send it out because I haven't packed up my shipments yet, then I don't want them to cancel it after I've already sent it, right? There's probably something in the system that will say you can't cancel it because it's already been shipped because I've already printed the label, but I'm not 100%, so I just went with an hour as a default. Let's see, what else? There's also a new location now. So if you travel a lot, you can set up a second location where you're going to ship from. So that, for most people, it's not maybe a big thing, but if it is something that is affecting you, definitely want to check that out. We've got other things, which I know I did talk about in that video, but just in case you missed it, you can set up your box sizes that you use a lot, or padded mailers, whatever you use a lot of for your FBM. So you would go into your account info, then you go to shipping and returns, and then buy shipping settings. For some reason, it's not in the place of shipping settings where you would think it. So it's account info, shipping and returns, buy shipping settings. You can set up there what sizes. So I have a lot of boxes I use a lot. I use the free UPS supply boxes. So those ones I have in there. I even title them UPS large, UPS small, or maybe it's medium. So then I just click it really easily. It's there. I use 4x4x4, 4x4x6, 9x6x4. All of the ones I use a lot, I have them all listed. So now you can pick from a drop down instead of manually entering every time you go to do a new thing. And then if you are new to FBM, it's cool because, so I just sent out a toy for the first time today, but now tomorrow, if I sold more, it's just gonna, you just print it out. It saves the weight and the shipping box sizes. So it makes it really easy, but having that little drop down will make it even easier, especially if you have a lot of boxes that you use commonly. Okay, so Amazon is just throwing everyone for a loop this year. If you're frustrated, you're not alone. I have been frustrated with them almost on the daily. So one of the things that they started doing this year, which is weird, is actually, so I think it started with Clinique or one of those other brands. When they gate a brand, right? Or they'll regate it. I think Clinique moved up to like Premium Beauty or something, which is fine, whatever. They can do that. But what's weird is this year they actually started, so if you had some old listings that you weren't selling, you hadn't sold them in a while, but they were just in your catalog, they then went one step further and gave you all those account health violations for selling a restricted products after it got gated. So if you ever sold, and I'm going to butcher the name, Briogeo, whatever, that shampoo and stuff that's at TJ Maxx, if you ever sold it, delete your listings now. Go into your account and delete those listings. Close and delete. You want them totally gone, because I think it was September 18th was the date. I can't totally remember. Whenever that date passes, and if you forgot, you already sold out. Like I already priced to move. I just wanted to get rid of them. So I already sold out of them. That's not good enough. You have to also delete them, because if that date comes, you could get a restricted product notice on your account, which you can get taken off. You can acknowledge it, but still it's another account ding that you don't want on your account at this point, especially during Q4 with everything else that's going on. So the other one that recently rolled out is Kate Spade. I think, again, it's end of September, that if you have any Kate Spade, you won't be able to sell it anymore, and you could potentially get that restricted product policy violation if you don't delete it. So make sure you're deleting I go in once a week now and delete old listings. It's really annoying because I also have to go in once a week now and go to my stranded and relist stuff. So I went to Oregon last year to go to Grocery Outlet in September, and they literally found a box last month of all this Grocery Outlet stuff. So I had to go into my stranded and relist like 15 things that they found, which some of them were Halloween costumes. So it was great timing and they actually sold for good money, but just make sure you're checking into that stranded inventory and also deleting listings pretty regularly now that they are being crazy. The other thing, they sent out another email today, I'm sure you got it, is a reminder about their warehouse timeframes. So last year it was like October 26th was the cutoff that they were saying if you wanted stuff by Black Friday. They've moved it up. So now it's October 19th that you have to get your shipments in. That is not to say that you can't still send in shipments in November and December. They're just telling us it's going to be backlogged and it's going to be slow. They say they have, we'll have limited inbound delivery windows, whatever that means. I didn't know they had delivery windows anyways, but they're telling us it's going to be slow. So in November, probably past the second week of November, I won't be sending any more Christmas stuff in, and I play everything by ear. You'll know if your stuff is getting shipped or checked in quickly or not. And if you notice it's not getting quickly enough, then it's time to start FBMing instead of sending that stuff in. But I still send stuff in because you want to have stock in the warehouse come January, because January is just as good a month as November and December can be. So you want to make sure you have stock in there. So definitely consider holding some stuff back and listing FBM, but you want to still send in stuff FBA, just knowing it might take a little bit longer. Valor said, I'm excited. It's going to be hard for Q4. Yes, it's exciting. It's the best time of the year. It's just like when you get into December, it's like the great time because everything is selling and it's like you're seeing all that profit come in, but then you're just physically exhausted. Like you just over it. So by the time Christmas comes, it's just break time for all of us. Hopefully your friends and family will make good dinner, or if it's something that you like to, like I love baking, so I enjoy baking and doing all that stuff. That's my relaxing time. For box sizes, do you list 6 by 6? It depends on how I'm feeling that day. I usually, if it's 6.5, I might say 6.5. I get my boxes from Uline. I'm probably going to start doing Granger now too, but they say I just put on whatever it is. So if you get those boxes from Walmart, that's like 11.5, I'll enter in 11.5. If I'm physically measuring taping it and it says it's maybe 10.5, I might just pick 10, but you want to have it as accurate as possible, because if something should happen, especially for FBM, and the post office or UPS says, oh no, that was wrong and it should have been charged more, Amazon will charge you back more, whatever that shipping charge was. But it depends how I feel that day and the day, but I try to put them in accurately. Let's see. Oh, and also to note that for that warehouse timeline breakdown, they're saying October 19th for Black Friday specifically sales. So there's still there's still like a whole month of sales before Christmas, right? So it's just if you want a bunch of stock in there, that's the date they're giving you. I use them as like goalposts of like when to kind of slow back my holiday stuff. But I've always, with Halloween, there's a few things that are coming up with Halloween. So if you had any Halloween costumes left over in the summer, just either listed FBM or FBA, you might have noticed that they got dinged with compliance documents. Only some brands, it's kind of like toys. Only some brands are getting dinged. So I can't recall off the top of my head. There'll be a post in the BOLO group about which brands, so we can be aware of which brands we should send in and not. But like I had some, I think they're Trick or Treat, that Sam kid, whatever. They haven't got hit with them. Those are the ones that they found from my Oregon sourcing last year. And those have been selling good. But anyways, so they don't have, those ones didn't get dinged with compliance. So it's only some of them. So I prefer to send in FBA all of my Halloween costumes, but you really have to do it like as soon as they start. So I saw Walmart starting to put out like the buckets and some of the stuff. There's candy at some of the Walmarts already. So it's coming, I'm pretty sure, in the next couple of weeks. So as soon as you start seeing them, and if you're aware of any hot brands that the kids love, scan those first. But as soon as you start seeing them, I would list them FBM. The unfortunate thing that happens with a lot of stuff, as soon as you list it FBM and then you go to send it in FBA, it will all of a sudden now have compliance documents issues. So there's no really way to know. But if you start to see compliance document issues, definitely FBM them. And shipping Halloween costumes is super easy. If it's got a hard mask, like some of those Jurassic Park masks are kind of hard, I'd probably box those. But the rest of them, I just get poly mailers. I do the 19 by 24. If it's backpacks, it fits big squishmallows. And you can get that one. It fits your Halloween costumes perfectly, and just send it off. And those black labels, if you don't have those black labels, they're on my supply list, which is on every video. Those black labels cover all the prices that are all over all the seasonal stuff. I've been using those 3 or 4 years now, and they work. I've never had a single complaint of someone peeling it off or anything. They're pretty hard to peel off. So that is what you want to do with your Halloween costumes. So what other questions we got? How much did it cost to do your own brand, make your own bundles? So I do all of my LLCs through CorpNet. And so I asked them, because at one point they did do trademarks, but I guess something happened in the last year or two with the government, and trademarks got more complicated. So they no longer do it. So they sent me out to someone else. I think his name is like Eric Gerberman or something. Anyways, all that to say, I think it cost $900 at first, and then there's an additional, I think it was $400 that I had to pay this year when it became final or something. There was some other thing I had to pay. So it's not cheap, but it's not all that expensive. There is a guy, if you're in the BOLO group, you can ask Becky. She used someone off of Fiverr, and she's been happy, and I think it was $400 or $500 for that. So it does range based off of who's helping you get it filed. But I feel like $1,000 range has been kind of standard. And it does take a very long time. So this is like a year and a half for it to be finally fully registered. Hey, Ashley, welcome. Oh, that's a pretty picture. I just saw the picture pops up. Okay. Remote fulfillment, FBA. You probably got the email. They maybe are sending it out again because they're about to, if they haven't already, auto opt you in if you did not opt out. So remote fulfillment FBA, now when you're scanning with the Amazon app, you might have seen it. If you go to change your fees from FBA to Amazon, there's a new one that says remote fulfillment FBA. So that is where they'll take your Amazon, everything you've sent into the US warehouses, and it's a whole like feed system, but when you opt in or whatever, it'll go through in the back end and put it out to the other countries so you can list it, and you would be pricing for the other countries. It really is like you have 4 now, because it's Brazil, Mexico, Canada, and the US accounts. And you have to really treat them the same if you're going to do it, the same as your US account, and be in there and see what's going on. Because if you get any account health dings for selling something that you weren't supposed to be selling, restricted product, IP, counterfeit, you will get a ding, and it will affect all of your accounts, including your US account. So I opted out 2 years ago now because something happened in Canada. I got for Hefty, like orange solo cups. I guess it was around Halloween time. I hadn't sold them in a couple years, but they were still in my Canada inventory, apparently, like just the feed, I didn't have any stock. But because of that, I got a counterfeiter IP or something, which then affects my US account. I also got like a customer return or something, and then so that they were charging back to my credit card, whatever that was, because there was no money in that Canada account. To me, it's more of a headache than it's worth. Maybe if you're doing private label and you have a bunch of stuff and you want to sell it, like a separate thing. But for me, for retail arbitrage, it is not worth the headache. So I have opted out of all of them. There is a guy here on YouTube who has a video. If you need it, just search, I think you search like NAR or something. It's like North America opting out of the remote fulfillment, and it's like timestamped and you can get to how to do it, but definitely want to make sure you're aware of it. And if you are doing it, you price it for there, but you got to make sure you're keeping within their like restrictions. Like, it's really hard to sell grocery and beauty in Canada because they are very strict, whereas the US is like, yeah, that's not going to kill you, right? Sure, you can have it. So it's a good thing, but it is a bad thing for your account if you're not paying attention. So opt out of that if you haven't. I had to opt out of Brazil because they just added that one, but my opt-outs that were for Canada and Mexico were still solid. Just if you ever get that email, you just want to pop in and look. So it's under your menu. It'll be inventory, and then it's remote fulfillment FBA, and you just want to check that you're opted out, because yeah, they like to opt everyone in every once in a while. This is like the third time that they've done it. The other crazy thing that I don't know if everyone noticed this email or not, but I sure did, is the FBA Returnless Resolution. So thankfully for now, we are by default not opted into it, but you never know with them what Amazon might do. So what it is basically, which is crazy because I thought they were supposed to be coming down on customers, but if you opted into it, it's essentially that the customer keeps the item. They get a refund and they keep the item, and all you get is a refund on the fee that you paid Amazon. And they've actually added something in since I first looked at it, where there's like an additional administrative cost. Don't even get me started on how frustrating this is with FBA. I'm going to try not to turn this into an Amazon rage fest. But with FBA, we're already paying them for customer service and to manage our returns and all that stuff, right? That's a part of the fee we're paying for them. And now they're saying, you're going to still pay us that. In fact, you're going to pay us more coming up here in Q4. And you know what? We're just going to let the people keep the items because it's easier for you. They're trying to sell it like it's easier for us. It's like I said, it's on default. So if you go into your FBA settings, there's settings, fulfilled by Amazon settings, there's all those different drop downs of things. So one of them now is called FBA Returns Evaluation and Ownership. And so I went in there just to double check that it was defaulted opted out. So if you do want to do it, the crazy thing is, so this is what it would never work for anyways. Dangerous goods, recalled products, gift cards, heavy bulky items, non-returnable items, items that are more expensive than $75. So literally up to $75 price point, people will get to keep the stuff and get their refund only if the seller has opted in. It's just mind-blowing to me, that part. But definitely just keep an eye out. I used to not read all the emails that they send, but now I make sure to read them all because there's something every day that Amazon is rolling out new for us. And that was the craziest one. So if you did have stuff you wanted to enroll in, you could enroll it by SKU level. There's a way to upload a CSV file. But yeah, so just so you know, that happened. And right now, like I said, I would not put it past them to eventually opt everyone into that. So I'm keeping an eye out. Oh, the other thing that I wanted to talk about. So Amazon, another email that I don't know if everyone noticed, for that Amazon inbound placement fee, that thing they rolled out in June or May this year, where now we're sending our stuff to like 5, 6, 8, 10 warehouses at once, right? So they rolled out another email that said, if you didn't have 5 or more exact boxes, so 5 exact, like each one has 1 of this lotion, each one has 2 of this coffee, whatever, then you're going to have to pay the additional inbound placement fees. I don't know, because I've only done 2 case pack shipments in the last 3 weeks. So I don't know. I haven't gone in to look, but just so you know, it may become a better situation for you if you constantly are sending stuff out to 7, 8, 9 different warehouses with every shipment, to just go ahead and pay them because they're going to make you pay either way, to choose the option for less shipments. I can't remember off the top of my head what it's called, but the one, it's not Amazon optimized. There would be like a east, west, central that you would pick. One of those may be better for you if they're going to charge you either way. So definitely dig into your account and see. One possible workaround, which is what I've been doing in the last 2 shipments, like I said, is I've been doing case pack shipments. So some of them are like wholesale stuff that I've been dabbling in, but I've got some retail arbitrage stuff I'm also mixing in there. So say I have 2 lotions, I would just say it's 1 case pack of 2. And that way your whole case pack is going to be sent to a warehouse instead of maybe that 1 lotion go here and 1 go here. So it is potentially something that's good. The only thing with Inventory Lab is you cannot use buy lists. And I really love that buy list feature. So I'm playing around with whether or not I want to go forward with that, or if I just want to use case packs for my more traditional case packs. Even though, so I sent in stuff that I had like 4 case packs, each one was 6. I just did the math and said it was 1 case pack of 24 so that it wouldn't, because it will still break it up. I could be sending it to 3 warehouses instead of just 1. But if I did have 1, it was crazy, 1 shipment that went to 1 warehouse last week. Everything went together because it was that bigger case pack. So you can play around with it. I've not seen anything. I first shout out to the members. I think it was Sheena in the BOLO group who first told me about it 2 months ago when we had our call. And I've been testing it out since then. Definitely less shipments overall. It's not breaking it up as much, but you do still have multiple shipments. So I would definitely be digging into your like what you're paying on inbound placement fees, because it sounds like we're all paying now unless you happen to have 5 of the same boxes going to 5 different warehouses. So they did sneak that back in. That's what I was talking about. I don't trust them to not do something, roll it in down the line. So you definitely want to check that out and do the math for yourself. Maybe it's better to just say, okay, you know what? I'm going to send them all to the East Coast because I'm on the East Coast and I'm just going to pay. And you would just buffer in that extra cost into your profit. I don't have a video on buy lists. I actually was going to make one. Or I might have, but I can go over it. I know you're in the Q4 group, so I can go over it there for sure. You guys drop any other questions you have. So with the buy list, you use the Scoutify 2 app, I think it's technically called, the Inventory Lab app. And you literally just, when you're, so I still use the Amazon app for a first scan. And then once I know I'm going to buy something, or if I want to look at the profit, I use Scoutify at that point because I hate the new Amazon revenue calculator. So with that, at that point, if I'm going to buy it, I'll go ahead and add it to the buy list. And you would literally just, you put the store you found it in, you put how much you paid for it, what you want to sell it as. And then I put in the expiration date for everything, every beauty product and grocery product, because if you don't, and it may not have one or may not need one, but if Amazon thinks it does, when you're doing your shipment and Inventory Lab, it'll like error out. So I've just started to add them to everything. The new placement fee. So if you go into, let me go into my old shipment. It should be showing up in your shipments. Oh, it's going to make me log in. Oh, yeah. That's another thing. You guys have probably noticed that you have to log in every 20 minutes on Amazon, even when you're just doing it. So that's been fun. It's 2-factoring me 30 times a day. But you should see on the shipment on the very top, it should have a number there. But if it doesn't, I have to get back to you. I'm not totally sure. There's a report somewhere where it has it. Yeah, they really are like throwing everything at us this year. And there's some hot toys. They are shared in the Q4 group already. And I've noticed that they're only price matching the one that they are on, or price capping, which is annoying because I have a lot of that one. Joanna, what's a good practice to analyze profitable products? So you really want to dig into Keepa, like first of all, but just no matter what app you use, so if you're using RevSeller, if you're on a computer, or if you're using one of the scanning apps like BuyBot Pro or something like that, you'll see the profit really quickly, but it's more than that. You want to dig into the history of the item. So I have a how to analyze products. I did it, I think, in May video this year. but you really want to dig in to keep it to see, has the price been stable? Was Amazon ever on it? If they are on it, are they sharing the buy box? If it's a variation product, which variation sells the most? Because if you're staring at the one that sells the least, maybe you don't want to go that deep on it. But there's a lot of different aspects of it, and it does get overwhelming, but after a while, like once you kind of understand it, it'll make a whole lot more sense. So I would check out that video on my channel for more, like, I think it's all my videos seem to be long lately, but it's like a long video where I go into all that stuff. April, are you teaching bundles today? No, not in this live, but I will be next week, next Wednesday, in the Q4 group, teaching, going over all of it, like literally step by step. There's a way to do brand approval without having a trademark, and so I'll walk over through that. But in my opinion, it's not all that worth it because you can't offer any protections. Like, you can't kick people off your listings with that. Any other questions? Buy list. I think I got all of them. Oh yeah, when you have a lot of listings up at once. I never really have more than 1,000 at a time. I usually probably have 300 to 500 live at any one time, but the more you get, the crazier it is. Has anyone tried Profit Protector Pro? I know in the BOLO groups, a lot of people started it, but I've been loving it. It's been great. I've just been like, so if I ever get a price cap, then instead of working in Amazon, I'll just open up that and like look at it and make my adjustments in that one versus in the Profit Protector Pro repricer versus doing it in Amazon. Because if I did it in Amazon, I'd have to do it twice, right? Because Profit Protector Pro is going to go boop right back up to my number. But I've been really enjoying it because it's been bumping. Like, I actually was going through my excess inventory, which I have a lot of, unfortunately. And so I price dropped these like deodorants that I got from Ollie's. And so I can see the sale. I did an outlet deal, whatever that is. I have no idea. I just was like, sure. And I saw them selling for $15 in my app, getting the sales. And then all of a sudden I see them for $19. And I was like, oh, that's Profit Protector Pro bumping the price back up for me because it didn't know I was wanting to do it. So I see it working in real time, and it's been really, I'm really happy with it. Yeah, it's been amazing. There's a little bit of kinks in the initial setup, but after that, it's been good. I've been really happy with it. Nita asked, stop sending in. So if you're going to send in FBA Christmas stuff, before Thanksgiving is when I would stop. Possibly even that week, because Thanksgiving is like the very last week of November this year. Maybe that week before. It just depends so once you start sending stuff in November in the first and second week of November, if you see that they are getting checked in pretty quickly, then I would be confident to keep sending. But after Thanksgiving, I will not be sending any Christmas stuff. I have a bunch of Christmas stuff actually there now because it was like remnants of stuff that didn't sell. And instead of asking for it back, because that's also been, who knows how it's going to arrive to you. I have some stuff back here that I need to list on eBay that literally has my shipping label right on it because that's how they decided to send it back to me. So you never know how they're going to send it back. And so for that reason, I just kind of left it there and it's selling now. So, yeah, if you want it to sell this year, the earlier, the better. And it's always comes down to playing by ear of where it's going to go. You reminded me of something I was going to say and now I forgot it. Oh, what's it about? But you do, okay, so this is something someone reminded me in the BOLO group last call, but you want to make sure your IPI score, because I always forget about that thing, but it does matter. So you want to turn off restocking for anything that you have sent. So now that I'm deleting products weekly, my IPI is okay because I don't have any stuff that I need to replan. But if you have any excess stuff, like I got an email from Amazon this morning because they were like, we saw you have a bunch of Halloween stuff and there's a Labor Day Halloween sale we're doing coming up. So they have incentives. So like I said, I did those outlet deals, whatever those are. I'm just trying to move through the stuff because they are dragging my IPI down. I don't need the stuff. I'd rather have whatever money I can scratch back from it at this point. And so that IPI, as long as you're above 400, I think it is, and you're in the green, you're fine. I'm right on the border. I'm like barely, but I've always been in the green, so you should be fine. But there are things you can do. You can turn off the replen. You can get rid of your excess, liquidate it, ask for it back, just have it destroyed, either way. And then make sure you're in your account health daily. They have it now on the app so you can see. But luckily, hopefully everyone got rid of that glitch where the restricted product because they said it had a pharmaceutical ingredient when it didn't. So hopefully all your guys' have dropped off. Mine has. Yeah, and as long as your account health is over 250, you are enrolled in that account health assurance thing. And I got a call 2 or 3 weeks ago from someone at Amazon because of during that whole glitch, it dropped down my total score. My total score right now is 244. And I think at the time it got down to 236. And so the lady was just calling me. I have this inauthentic claim that you guys maybe have heard me talk about, this bubble bath. And I said, I want that. Like, how do I get that off my account? And she was trying to reassure me that it's not affecting my account. It is affecting my account. I saw the number go down. But anyways, she said, oh, just acknowledge it and it'll come off. And I know this is like taboo and some people say not to do that, but I acknowledge everything I can possibly acknowledge to get it off my account health. The like legal aspect of it is that you would potentially be saying, yes, I sold counterfeit. I don't care. I have acknowledged them for the last 2 years. They come off within seconds, and that's what I want. I want them off my account. So there's a bunch of mixed messages out there. That's what I do. So she told me, well, just acknowledge it. But because I'd already appealed it, I'd no longer have that option. So it's going to be on my account until I think November because I got it in May. So I have 180 days of it on my account. So I don't like any of those red things on my account. I like a clean dashboard. But right now I don't have it. So even the Amazon associate told me to just acknowledge it. So it was kind of reassuring to me because I was already going to do that anyways. But I thought for sure, I'm staring at it right now, this bubble bath that was not counterfeit. Clearly, I would be able to win it, but no. I just gave up on the fight. But yeah. So if at all possible, I acknowledge all of them just because it comes off real fast. You don't have to deal with it. I did have a call with the cruise tour for this travel agent people today. So the Resellers at Sea conference is happening in January 2026. So I will be talking more about it in probably later this year and definitely in January. So how it's going to work, I have a couple different speakers. I've got asks out for them. So once I've confirmed the speakers, we'll definitely let you know, but it's going to be a 5-night cruise out of Tampa. We're going to the Bahamas, and it will be conference, cocktails, dinner party, just fun in the Bahamas while we're learning, talking about all things. So it's not just Amazon, it's going to be eBay. We're going to talk about, I'm hoping to get some private label people. So if that's something you're into, Walmart, all different kind of aspects of reselling and whatever it is. So obviously I think, well, you probably agree, after Q4, January is a good time to take a vacation. So it's right in that like sweet spot when it's cold and we want to get away. And so definitely stay tuned for that. That will be coming later on this year, early next year. You'll be able to reserve your cabins and all of that. So I'm excited. I haven't been on a cruise since 16. So I was 16. So it's like 20 years ago or something. Yeah, or more. But yeah, I'm excited about that. Any other questions? Anything about Q4? Like I said, the BOLO group is still available to join. The doors will close on Friday if there's any spaces left. As of right now, there's about 30 spaces left. So check it out. I would love to have you guys in the group. It's a great time. The energy is already amazing. Everyone's super excited. like I mentioned, already sharing, there's some chases that we're after already, because there's a sweet spot right now in time where Amazon is not yet on all of the new toy listings. So yeah. Dakota, what can we do if customers say products are defective when they're not? I just take the return back. It's really like not worth the battle, because as a retailer, especially a retailer on Amazon, that's just a part of business. So I would just take it back, resell it if you can. You can try and do safety claims if it was an FBM, and they used it, or it was not an original. You can do recharge. What is the word I'm thinking of? Where you per I'm blinking. Where you can charge back half of it if you want to. But I just take it. The customer can say whatever and they actually will say a bunch of different things to get the option that they want back. So if they want to be able to return it for free or not pay shipping or whatever, or sometimes keep it, this returnless thing is stupid. I almost want to not talk about it, because if bad customers are out there, they're going to be trying to get their free item even worse. But yeah. It's affecting your score. So then they not say it was defective, they said something else about it. When you cancel your listings, you don't have inventory but plan to sell it again. Do you cancel? So like I was talking about earlier, I'm canceling everything literally after it sells out. Every week I go in, I sort my inventory by sold out first of all, and then like the date last it had something, and I delete a bunch of stuff, because the reason is, if you want to relist it, since I use Inventory Lab, it's super easy. It just reinstates the listing. I don't have to make any new SKU or anything. It's already there for me. So it's like literally click of the button to add it back to so it's super easy to relist it. If you have something not relisted, even if you're like, I'm going to sell it next month, and something happens in that month where it's restricted or it's going to give out counterfeits or whatever, you will get dinged with it, even though you don't have it currently active, because you have it in your catalog. So that's why I've been deleting everything. Good practice when filtering the BOLO group before you source. If you're already, okay. The BOLO group sheet, it has the link to Amazon. So you can literally click from the sheet into Amazon to see, if you're on a computer, you can see if you can sell it or not if you're logged into Amazon that way. In store, how I use it, because it's a Google Sheet, I have the Google Sheets app. I save a copy just like everyone else has to. And then I literally filter it. So when I'm in Walmart, I'll filter to Walmart, and I'm visual. So I'll go down the photos and like look at all the photos and say, okay, in the toy section, I need to do that. If there's something I'm really after, either it's on my own BOLO list or from the BOLO group list, I have another app that I use called Google Keep, and I have an iPhone, so you can use it on iPhones too. But it has like basically like sticky notes. And so I have each one different colors. So I have a Walmart sticky note, a Target sticky note, a TJ Maxx Marshall sticky note. And I literally have a list of things I'm looking for at every store. I make sure to look at that in store, because so many times I will leave and go, oh, I forgot to look for the fruitcake fruit or whatever it is at Walmart. So I go through the thing and say, okay, did I look for that? Yes. Okay. And then I go to the next store. So there's a couple different ways. Some people print them out, but you can check if you're ungated by just clicking through the link. And you can also use it. Some people in the Q4 group have already using it this way, as ways to ask for approval. Like just ask for a bunch of different brands for approval, because you never know what might open up for you. And so you can even go back to past BOLO sheets. I know Isabel said she's been doing that, where you go to the past BOLO sheets and then you can go through and look like, oh, wait, this is open for me now after a certain amount of times. Yeah, I love it's called Google Keep, and it has like, I don't know if you can see all, but like all the different colored. So one is my like shopping list, my grocery list. And then I have like all different, I use it for packing when I go on vacation. So I don't have to keep remaking the list. You just uncheck it and they come back up, and then check it when you packed it. But that's been how I've been doing it for years now. Any other questions? I think I got all of them. I know it's been rough this year. It really does feel like Amazon is pushing everyone out. It's good for some of the sellers who maybe were doing it as a hobby or didn't really care, and maybe they were the ones tanking the price. That price tanking, and I've said it a million times, it has consequences. So all of L'Oreal brands, I don't know if they all are yet, but they will eventually all be gated. I know L'Oreal itself is. That's one of those restricted brands that happen. But that company owns a ton of other beauty product companies. And so they're all eventually going to become gated. And it's a direct result of price tanking because brands have value. And when people are tanking the price on Amazon, that affects the whole marketplace everywhere. Like, how can someone say they want to buy something from Nordstrom's when you can get it for half off on Amazon, right? So it does affect everything. And I don't think people necessarily were understanding that, or there's bad people everywhere. So they just didn't care. But it does have consequences. And that's why we are seeing now more than ever so many specifically beauty brands being gated. This was not a thing 2-3 years ago. There would be things that would gate every once in a while, but not on the scale it is now. We also have never had this scale of price tanking happening as it has been the last couple of years. But yeah, so definitely be keeping your pricing what the brands want it at. It's not, someone was like, oh, that's price fixing. It's not price fixing. It's pricing what the brand, there's an MSRP for a reason, right? So just know that. And in fact, most of the stuff I sell, the fun stuff you want to sell, is above that MSRP anyways, because the demand has gotten crazy and the supply is tight. And so that's when you're getting more money. And it's all those people in the weeds of the lower price that is just getting crazy. But yeah. Hey, Brian. Good to see you. Yeah. Well, I hope to see you guys in the Q4 BOLO group, or the regular BOLO group is there if you want the month-to-month option as well. We'll be in there all Q4, and I'm really looking forward to it. So like I said, there's just a couple seats left in the Q4 group, and it is closing on Friday or when those seats filled out. But comment on this video or anything, if other videos that you want to see from me. I have another video next week about keeping track of your inventory and profit and all that kind of stuff. And yeah, other than that, I'm open to suggestions on videos for the rest of the year. So thanks, guys. Have a great evening, and I hope to see you in the Q4 group.